Alrighty then.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. This is Peace of Mind. Me, your host, Miquel Llobera.
Omnipresent supergalactic oneness.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. We have a bit of an issue at Critical Mass Radio. I should just state that I have yet still to attain omnipresent supergalactic oneness. But I'm nearly there, folks. I didn't say it this time, did I? So you thought I actually might have achieved it. No, if I achieve it, I'll tell you. Don't worry about it. We've been having a bit of a problem at Critical Mass Radio. The site was due to be taken down tomorrow, I believe, and then the new revamped or later tonight, 2 in the morning or something, and then revamped and then put back up, ready again for tomorrow's shows with all training needed and included. However, the crafty buggers, the lazy buggers, the what's the best adjective? Careless buggers have taken it down too early. Fortunately, Paul's been on at them. Don't know whether we're going to be able to retrieve the website for tonight's shows. Did send me a message saying linked to Blog Talk, your show, so you got them notified, but too late to link my show. It sounds almost Yoderic, really, doesn't it? Link to Blog Talk, your show is. So you got them notified. You're notified you got them. Right, anyway. However, on the bright side, I found a better driver for my sound system, for my sound card. And as a result, I have managed to increase the quality of the broadcast, and I can actually come through now, and it's hopefully not going to start fading in and out like the problems we've been having over the past few shows. Right, so it's all up in the air, isn't it? So you think you got one thing sorted, another thing comes up, and it's one thing after another. So let's begin the show in earnest, shall we? So 3, 2, 1.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
My name is Miquel Llobera, also known as Fettle Feign. I'm your host for the evening. I must state, for and on the record, as a disclaimer, that all the views and opinions expressed in this show are mine and mine alone, and they are not necessarily the views and opinions of any of the other hosts or Critical Mass Radio as a whole. Although, I don't know, ask them. They might share the same views as me. So I take wholly upon my shoulders all liability and responsibility for any offence caused. However, only to then throw it back at you and say offence can only be generated from within, like any other emotion or sentiment. It begins within. So if you're feeling offended and upset and angry, then look to that within you that is causing the offence. That is allowed offence, the feeling of offence to be caused, I should say. So, I'm being told by the wise and wonderful patron saint of Critical Mass Radio, Paul Giovanni, that we've got a new chat box. If I click on my chat box in the studio, so I'm going to do that now. Chat box in the studio. Let's see. Tell me, Paul, which button shall I press? Launch small chat here. Oh, yeah, I'll launch the small chat here. Let's just go for that, shall we? Please wait while I create a chat room. Anyway. Offense. Right, okay. All done. Right. Ooh. I can actually launch chat in a new window with moderator control. I'll do that, shall I? Yeah. Disclaimer, I don't know that. Oh, I'm getting all in a tizzy now. If you are listening to video through Blog Talk Radio. So, therefore, there should be a link to be able to call into the show. I should be keeping an eye out for callers during the show. Alternatively, you can contact me directly through Skype. My sign-in name is Fettle Feign, all one word, all lowercase letters. Now, please don't try to call me through that because it would cut off my show should I answer you. However, if you just send me an invite, and what I shall do is bring you into the conversation as a conference call. You can just come in and chat if you want. The chat room is now up and available. I don't know how you get to that chat room on the studio, but I presume you would get through it on the Blog Talk Radio website. You can contact me by email at peaceofmind@criticalmassradio.co.uk. peaceofmind@criticalmassradio.co.uk. Right, so I think I've said all that needs to be said. And that was Over the Rainbow by Israel, a Hawaiian guy. I can't pronounce his last name. It's long and awkward. It's got lots of O's and W's in it. It was a beautiful song. The shouting and cheering you could hear in the background of that song was, if you go to the YouTube and watch the music video of that, is actually the spreading of his ashes into the sea in Hawaii, and it's a wonderful thing to watch. This massive party barge, and there's all these boats and surfboards, and it's just hundreds, maybe probably over 1,000 people there, all watching the ashes being poured in, and all cheering and shouting, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant, excellent sentiment, really. I don't think you could wish for a better send-off. So, folks, I hope you're all well, and you've had a good week. There is somebody in the chat room with me at the moment. I don't know who they are, because it doesn't come up with names on it. It just says Critical Mass Radio Station and then a number. Oh, I've got Lisa's on, and it has her name on it. There we go. Hello, Lisa. So the Blog Talk Radio is getting, and the studio is getting filled up. It's the first. I think, is this the first instance of this chat box being used on a show at Critical Mass Radio? I think it could be interesting. Yeah, so I hope you've all been well. Lots of things been happening. The usual kerfuffle with Jimmy Savile still going on. I don't really want to talk about all that. And of course, we are right in the middle of the presidential election in America. Wow. Which one do you want? Which are the lesser evils? Do you think a third candidate will get a sniff? Doubtful. But it's strange, isn't it? The old two-horse race. That's just the race between the donkey and the elephant. Where did those symbols come from? One's an ass. Why would you want an ass as a symbol for your political party? And an elephant, when elephants don't even exist in America, except in zoos, of course. But anyway, so the election for the land of the brave and the home of the free is taking place as we speak. I've not been keeping up with it. It's strange, you know. I used to, growing up, I've always watched presidential elections. I always stayed up throughout the night to see the results, because it was always usually interesting roller coaster. Right? It always seemed to be a roller coaster ride. It was almost treated like a game. I know now, I understand now. I mean, it really is treated like a game. It's treated like a game of football, or their version of football, or like a sport. And you got the two different colours and two different teams, and taking scores, and the rhetoric and the wording, the vocabulary and the way they talk about what's going on in the election as it's happening and as it's unfolding, and it's more like it is a sports commentary. And the amount of money spent on presidential campaigns, they estimate now it's close to $1 billion. Each candidate is supposed to close to $1 billion on their campaigns. It's shocking. I mean, $2 billion. So between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, $2 billion has been spent on, I assume, things like, conventions, meeting hall arenas, adverts on television, adverts on magazines, and all sorts of things. $2 billion. What would you do with $2 billion? What would you do with $2 billion? What could you do with $2 billion? What could you do with $2 billion? You imagine you had $2 billion. Let's call it pounds. If we do it to pounds, 1.4 million pounds. Imagine billion pounds. Imagine if you had 1.4 billion pounds. It's. I mean, I could build a city. I'm not joking. I could build a city with that much money, and have a mountain of money left over. I could, and with the leftover money, I could, bring in some of the best technology to that city. I could create educational centres with the best technology, interactive technology. It's crazy. I am talking about, of course, an Earthship city, me and my Earthships. But I could, with that much money, for a really good, modern, up-to-date Earthship with all the mod cons that you would normally desire from an Earthship, from any living situation, i.e. electricity, internet, hot running water, heated water. That's it, really, isn't it? They're your mod cons, isn't it? Hot running water and electricity with internet connection. Those are the mod cons. From those things, all other modern living stems, really. And to build one with all that, is probably in the region of, for a moderate-sized family, say 2 kids, 2 parents, 2 kids, a dog, with a guest room. Probably talking a building's going to cost you about between 60 to 80 grand. 60 to 80 grand. So I could build a city. Literally build flipping city. You could create, a cultural centre of excellence and alternative living. But no, instead we use that money to, I should say the Americans use that money to parade 2 men up and down the length and breadth of the continent, spouting rhetoric which is almost identical, offering no choice and very little hope of any real physical, any real tangible change coming out of that political system. It really is in the hands of Americans now, the people of America, not the politicians. I had really high hopes for Ron Paul, buddy, and bless him, I honestly think they were absolutely crapping themselves. The establishment was shitting itself, and it was amazing because I remember watching the Alex Jones show, live coverage of when they went down to the Bilderberg meeting, and I remember they'd interviewed one of the chaps who always gets inside information from the Bilderberg group. And he said that Ron Paul was quite a hot topic of discussion. A lot of people within the Bilderberg were very angry. Meeting were very angry with Ron Paul and what was happening in with Ron Paul. And it wasn't very long after that all this stuff started coming out. Things started to just seem to start coming apart at the seams for him, when he seemed to be picking up speed every day and picking up momentum, more and more momentum, every single day, picking up more and more momentum. And all of a sudden, a spanner went into the works, and he was shut down. Definitely, he was definitely shut down. I've even got a feeling threats were made, to be honest. But with Ron Paul went the last real, tangible hope for this election to be something of a changing of ages. I am pleased, though, of what the Ron Paul campaign was able to do. I know a lot of people listening to this now are British and probably don't have much of a clue of how the American political system works, but obviously, a lot of us tend to forget, really, or to sort of not really realise that, or take into account, I should say, that America isn't just a country, it's a continent. It's massive. It is massive. You could lose England. You could lose England in a dark, shady corner of America. You know what I mean? It's massive. And therefore, in order to rule, or in order to control a country like that, political system has to have a lot of tentacles. It has to have a lot of... so that's why the states have their own laws. That's the biggest pain in the arse for the federal government, is states. And states holding on to their sovereignty, like a country would in Europe, like a country in Europe would against the euro. The individual states within America, try and hold their own against centralized federal government in America. So and what the Ron Paul campaign managed to do was to, pull a lot of good, progressive, powerful, energetic people within many states, local governments, on the local levels, on the state levels. You might not have had the presidency. Ron Paul might not have got the presidency, and the libertarian movement might not have had the presidency, won the presidency in the end. But they won a lot. People need to remember that. It did, and it planted. I should say it planted 1,000 seeds, probably more. Thousands of seeds it planted, and over the next 2 terms, 1 to 2 terms, so that's 4 to 8 years. Believe you me, those seeds are going to grow. I'm probably faster than that, but I'm going to be frugal. I'm going to hedge my bets a bit and say 1 to 2 terms, which is 4 to 8 years. But I'm being very conservative there. Mark my words, those seeds are going to grow. They are going to grow. So I have hope. So I'm pretty much debating now as to whether or not to actually waste my time by staying up to even watch this election. Just for entertainment purposes, really. Just for entertainment purposes. Because it's bound to be entertaining in some way or another. I can't shake. I've had a strange feeling all day. I've had a really strange feeling all day. Like I did. I had some intense dreams last night. So I've been quite lightheaded all day today, and felt really strange in the evening. Read a part in my. I've been reading a book and got to a part in the book which made me sort of didn't make that feeling in me get any better, because it was about betrayal, and it was the way people were betrayed, and it was very bad, and wasn't very nice at all, and it sort of left me with a bad feeling, and an increased bad feeling. It's weird. I don't know. I just and at the same time, it's what happened to gathering at London, November the 5th. It's November the 5th. I'm Guy Fawkes, everyone, by the way. Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I see no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. No, I can hear it, yeah. I can hear there's fireworks going off here, yeah. Did anything happen in London? I have actually been keeping an eye on the news today. RT and BBC, just to see if any reports came up of any gatherings in London. Did anything happen? If somebody else out there knows anything that's happened, please give me a link to a video or something. Because if something has gone down, then it's being kept well hidden, especially from mainstream media. But again, that's their job. It's their job. That's what they're paid to do. I don't know. Cheer me up, somebody. Anyway, so you can call into the show. I'm sure there's a way of doing it through Blog Talk Radio, as there was on the Critical Mass website. Alternatively, you can contact me directly through Skype. Fettle Feign, all one word, all lowercase letters. Just drop me a text. If I'm not on if you're not on my friends list already, send me an invite. Tell me who you are, that you are from Critical Mass Radio. I shall accept you as a friend, and then if you would like, I shall bring you in to the conversation as a conference call. Or you can just text in the box. We do have a chat box now up on the Blog Talk Studio. So if you can find that, join in. There's a couple of people in there now, making up for it all. Right, let's have some music, shall we? So, in fact, this is something I wanted to play tonight to make people aware of. It's something out there. It's really good. It's powerful. I put my own little wording in there here. Actually, I sampled my own words and put it in because it's taken from a YouTube video and there's writing on it, so I read out the writing. And also, I'm not going to lie by saying I didn't have time. I probably did have time. Just couldn't be asked. There's some couple of sections where it's in a different language, and it did have subtitles. I could have done the same to read out the subtitles, but I just couldn't be asked. But it doesn't in any way detract from the sentiment and the feeling of the video and what you're about to listen to. So this is Playing for Change. And that was The Movement from Playing for Change. Lisa apparently has... I don't know whether you've played that on your show, Lisa, or you were going to play that on your show. I do apologise if I've stolen it. Or if you have already played it, good on you. I was around at a friend's house the other day. I was staying in Runcorn for a couple of days with a friend, and he was playing a lot of their tunes. I've got a couple of their tunes on tonight. Right, what the score's going to be today with the music, actually, I thought was, I have a song that I'm going to be dedicating to the police state of this country, those who are firmly entrenched within the so-called justice system. But it's a long track. So what I would like is for anybody and everybody who have any requests for songs, as I did on my last show, if you have a request for a particular song, either pop it in the chat box at the studio, or send it to me, send a text drop to my Skype account, Fettle Feign, or one word, lowercase letters. And I shall endeavour to put it on the show. If not, don't worry. I can always dredge out some songs to play. The handy thing about having the studio, don't have to have it all beforehand. I can do it as we go along. It's great. Do whatever I feel like in the mood. Unfortunately, I don't know what my mood is at the moment. I just feel strange. I've got the keys to the new flat now. Over this last weekend just gone. It's empty, apart from one couch, two-seater couch in the living room. But it's brand spanking new. It's all ready for decoration, ready for all the stuff to go in straight away. Just got to put up some curtains and away you go. But anyway, I'm sure it makes it riveting listening for radio, talking about my new flat and decoration. So, in fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on that dedication to the police, and the police state, I should say. And whilst that's playing, if you have any requests, send them through. When I get back from smoking a cigarette, I'll give them a glance over, see if I can find them and put them on for you. Enjoy, and if 10 points to whoever can guess what the track is, you'll probably get it, to be honest. You have to be pretty culturally deprived to not know this. Well, no, I might be being a bit harsh there. I suppose it depends on your generation. But come on, most of you should know this. Yes, and if you hadn't guessed it, that was Pink Floyd, Dogs, and a tribute to all the fine men and women of the thin blue line of this country. Just a thin blue line stands between us and chaos. Utter chaos. Although it seems to me that the blue line is quite thick. It's not thin at all. It's certainly craven, anyway. Cowardly. Crimes it commits, crimes it fails to persecute. Out of fear of losing a salary or mortgage, pension. What's a mortgage or a salary or pension weighed against the freedom of an entire nation, entire population of people? Me and mine. It's always the attitude, isn't it? But I don't know. Maybe I'm just sounding like an old, tired, and weary, weary hippie. Could be. Good old Carmen. Indeed. I must confess, I myself, in my time, have been a college know-it-all hippie. I suppose I still am anyway. But now I'm the hippie who knows he knows nothing. Hippie. Got a little hippie and he's hidden in my coat. Anyway, I'll tell you, I was feeling a bit strange today. I've been feeling not quite right today. Something unsettled feeling inside me today. Cannot quite put my finger on it. I had a dream about aliens last night again. Strange one. Well, it wasn't so much a dream about aliens. It was I looked up at the sky and I thought I saw the moon. I was looking at it, thinking, no, it's not the patterning on the moon I usually know. And it started getting bigger and bigger. And it wasn't the moon. It was in fact another planet, blue and green like Earth, but very different continent shapes. And in fact, it's more like evenly spaced out island continents, or continent islands, so to speak. A lot of water, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I was standing next to a house. I was sort of standing in the car park of the house, sort of, or an area behind the house, and the air started shimmering, and the ship appeared. I can't remember what the details of the ship looked like. This little fella came out, suddenly appeared out on the outside, little guy in a suit, and walked over to him, and I sort of phased myself, and then all of a sudden I was on a ship in space. I was actually on the toilet, if I remember rightly, trying to figure out how to wipe my ass in zero gravity. Well, that's what I was thinking. How do you wipe your ass in zero gravity? No. Ooh, I'm on a spaceship. I can travel across the galaxy and see lots of amazing things. No. First thing I thought was, how do you wipe your ass in zero gravity? Anybody got any ideas? Oh, we've lost a guest. It's probably American. I know Americans don't like toilet humour. Well, some of them do, obviously, but I know generally as a whole, the culture of America doesn't really have much room for toilet humour. Strange, really. Strange. But hey, one thing we can say in Britain, we are probably #1 proud kings of toilet humour, aren't we? Anyway, here's a track from Playing for Change. Indeed, it is our turn. Turn to do what, though? There's a question. What exactly is it our turn to do? Talk? Act? Wait? Think? Meditate? So many options. Which one is it? Questions and questions I ask myself every day. Strange. I often find myself just gazing off, thinking about thinking, really. What is it about thought and consciousness that allows itself to be so present and yet so out of touch, out of, tangible reach? One of the most head scrambling meditations you'll ever have is meditating on consciousness and trying to become aware of that aspect of yourself that is aware. That is to say, there is a part of you that watches and hears and assesses and not just the outside physical stimulus that you receive 24 hours a day, but also everything that's going on inside your head, the chatter, the visual displays, the audio displays that go on inside your mind. There is an aspect that is watching all that, taking all that in. What is that aspect? It's like trying to see your own face without a mirror, but you know it's there. You know it's there. It's like truth. You can never really pin truth, true truth, real absolute truth. You can't pin that down. At best you can shine a light on it and try and make out how it's shaped by the shadow. But yeah, try that. Try being aware of the awareness within you. Oh, it's a head twister. It is It's a tongue twister for the mind. And it quite often provokes those uneasy feelings about, well, after death, after the transition of this particular life you're living, I should say. Death's a horrible word. It just doesn't really exist, really. Well, only for the living. Death only exists for the living. Think on that. Anyway, enough of these talks. Yeah, apparently they were supposed to be down in London today. Our good friend Philip Makes Movies has informed me that it was called Operation Jubilee. And apparently Operation Jubilee hasn't gone down at all. Really? It hasn't happened. As far as I'm aware. As I say, I've been keeping an eye on things that have been going on the news. First time in ages I've been keeping an eye on the news, BBC and RT, although I didn't think BBC would show it even if it was going down. It would have to be like over 10,000 people probably for them to bring attention to it, especially because of what they were protesting for. It's strange, it's really weird because I've been thinking about it, and Operation Jubilee is, I think it was a good idea. Not so much in the way of any hope that it would work the way that it was being said to work. I mean, the only way it would work that way is if literally millions turned up, over 1 million turned up, 2 million. Which I don't think ever was going to be the case. However, it seems to me whenever there's protests down anywhere in the world, but anyway, specifically down in London or anywhere like that, they end up getting on the BBC News. The reason they're protesting is often a good one. I mean, there's no cuts and all this lot, and higher wages, minimum wage, or whatever. There's a whole plethora of reasons. But there's never anybody there protesting with a slogan that's like a specific slogan that says like end fiat currency, end fiat. That would be all you'd need, really. Now, if you could get 10, 15, 20,000 people protesting that one slogan and not going off the track, just that one slogan. First of all, the news would have to report a crowd of that much amassing in London. They'd have to give it at least, the very minimum, they'd have to give it, 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, bit of airtime here, there. Minimum amount of coverage, but that many people, if they stuck around for long enough, made a big enough noise, they'd have to cover it at least a little bit. Now with the slogan, and if they all kept to the slogan, end fiat currency, then the news would have to, everybody had the plaque with it, end fiat currency. It would be almost impossible for the BBC not to get that slogan in somewhere. Obviously they could discredit it and whatever, but once spoken, words cannot be unsaid, Once said, things cannot be unsaid. Once it's spoken, it's out there. Once it's read, it's out there. Once it's seen, it's been seen. You can't unsee it. And regardless of what the people in the news would say, people would look. People would start looking it up. You get people who stolidly watch the BBC and that conservatives, what have you. Like, what is this fiat currency? They might believe what the news is telling them, but it would always be there in the back of their head, and they might think about it a bit more. And usually, as the universe works, that's what happens. Where attention goes, energy grows. So just thinking about it might bring something into their life. A nephew that they haven't seen in years comes along and says, "Oh yeah, I was down at the London protest. So I had a friend that was down there. What is this fiat currency? Well, this fiat currency is blah blah blah." It's it baffles me that when so many people actually do manage to pull off a protest, actually do manage to go down there, or wherever it is that are having the protest, too little thought is put in to what is it that's going to be, protested about. Some of them are like, well, quite simply, we just don't want cuts in education. We don't want cuts in, or we don't want student fees. We don't want student fees. It's like, right, okay. That's good, that's fine. Probably a lot of people will agree with you there. But most people already know student fees are high. Most kids are coming out of university with massive fees. It's already a well-chewed subject. More like as not, people are just going to go, oh yeah, it's a shame, I agree with you, but what can we do? So it seems to me that, when these gatherings are able to take place, why isn't something new and fresh introduced? But not something new and fresh from the system, from the media, of their choosing. Something new and fresh of our choosing. Something that will bring attention. I used to work at a Honda plant down in Swindon. I was only there for about 3 months. Maybe 4, I can't remember now. But when I was doing my first 3 or 4 days training, first 2 days is all about the Honda philosophy. If you have time, look at that. Look that up. The Honda philosophy. It's crazy, man. It's like the Tao of the motoring world. It's like it's crazy. It's it's like the Confucianism of the engineering universe. And you learn that for about 2 days, but then you go onto the factory floor and you start learning a bit more about stuff you're going to be doing on the floor. And you get a tour of the factory, the whole factory. And when we went into the paint section where they do all the spray painting, they had examples of colours on the walls and doors that were just pinned up on the wall. I'm not sure if they were doors, but there were sheets of the metal that's used in the cars with examples of the colours sprayed on them. And 2 or 3 of them were really, really garish colours, like bright luminous orange and neon green, and he told us, the guy who was giving us a tour said, these colours, apparently all car companies do it, these colours will be put on the first, I think it's 500 or first couple of thousand cars that come off the line. It might have been 5,000. But anyway, the first batch of cars to come off the line of a new model will be painted in those colours. And the reason they're painted in those colours is because they draw attention. That car will be driving down the street and everybody go, "Woo, look at that bright car. What model's that? Oh, I've not seen that before." It draws attention to it. And then the idea being, no greater advertisement other than drawing the attention to the object, drawing your attention to the fact, to the point at hand. No flair, no clever punchlines, no fancy music, just a bright colour, something to draw the eye and the attention. Apparently from that, apparently that increases sales something like 15%, I was told. Crazy. Certainly from Honda's perspective anyway. Just by painting your first batch a luminous colour so people notice it. I mean, if you think about it, the chances are that at least, even if only 15-20% of those cars are used by people who do a lot of travelling, chances are, there are going to be a percentage of those cars that are bought by people who travel up and down the country all the time, maybe executives. I mean, let's face it, if you're buying a brand new car, it will be executive. Has a high probability it's going to be an executive type person, somebody with a job that requires them to travel backwards and forwards, wearing a tie and a suitcase and that lot. So it's going to be travelling up and down the country. It's going to get seen a lot. And that's it, just a colour. That colour makes all the difference. 10 to 15% of their sales, apparently, come from something as simple as colour. It's funny, isn't it? Thank you, Lisa, by the way. I do pride myself on my ability do accents. So seems to me something as simple as, obviously a colour can't convey social ideal or such, but a plaque that has the simple words "end fiat currency." It's 3 words. End fiat currency. So that's end fiat currency. So that's like 5 syllables. 3 words. 6 syllables. 3 words, 6 syllables. It's about as simple as a colour can get in terms of words, really. It's like, and people will go, end fiat currency. Well, what is fiat currency and why do we need to end it? Hello? I mean, if every single person in the whole protest had that placard, and were informed beforehand that should you be approached by a news crew to talk only and solely about, maybe even to go so far as to just literally say the words end fiat currency. Whenever the news presenter, could you imagine that somebody's getting interviewed? Well, the news presenter says, all right, we've got to find somebody to interview. Excuse me, sir, do you mind being on the news? We'll just do a quick interview. So, can you tell me why you've gathered here today? And fiat currency. Right, okay, and so what exactly is fiat currency? And fiat currency. Yeah, but what in your view is fiat currency? And fiat currency. And every single person did it. End fiat currency. Yes, but what exactly is fiat currency to you? And, what does it mean to the end fiat currency? Just carry on and carry on. They'd be tearing the hairs out. Yes, we've been here all day today trying to get people to interview, but all they keep saying is end fiat currency. Well, we have an expert into the studio today. What would any expert they bring into the studio say? How could any expert in the studio describe or spin what fiat currency is in any direction? What direction could they possibly spin it in? The only thing they could do is literally say, well, fiat currency is currency that's not backed by anything. It's money that is no longer representative of something of material worth. What does that mean exactly? Well, we used to have money that was represented by gold, and the money in your hand had a value equal to it in gold once upon a time, but now it doesn't. Now it's just paper that's printed. And, and I just don't see how they could get around it. And it wouldn't take much. It really wouldn't take much. 3 words, 6 syllables. But, that's just my opinion, my view. Don't know what you think, but to me it seems like it could be as simple as that. People try and make it complicated. Do you know what I mean? It's all about leverage, It's about finding that, we have this gargantuan machine in front of us. It's like a steampunk thing, it's like something from the future and from the Victorian era. It's just got pipes and cogs and wheels and steam coming out. Gargantuan titan walking towards, stomping all in its back, consuming everything. And it just seems like, how do you bring this thing down? But little does anybody know, all you have to do is just take away that small cog there and this little wheel there, and the whole thing just either stops or collapses right there. As massive as it seemed, all it took was, that whole mass could only operate so long as every single part within it functioned correctly or was shielded correctly. It is, so to speak, the proverbial Achilles heel. And of course, all that would be achievable. All that is achievable simply by understanding that the one true, undeniable truth, the only truth of existence, which is love, really. Yeah, man! Let's get together. and feel alright. 'Cause you know you want to. Right. That was, of course, One Love. Bob Marley, by people all over the world. Now, I'm not a politician, and I'm certainly not an American politician. But if I was, I would definitely have that as my campaign song. In the bag. It would be in the bag, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? I wouldn't even have to go and do speeches. I wouldn't even have to turn up to debates. Just send in a CD with that song on. And everybody would be like, yeah, man. You know what he's talking about. And then that's it, you know. The voting booths would just be full to the brim with ballots for me. Because, you know, as Lisa pointed out in the chat box, what was it? That was this is the real US. That would be the slogan. The song. This is the real US. I know you meant to say this is the real us. But because you put us in capital letters, it really did look like you said, this is the real US. And that's what gave me that notion. Maybe you were onto something there, Lisa. Maybe you were onto something. 2016, maybe. Let's find our representative and Senator Llobera. It's only got one R, but actually, it might be better with two R's. Senator Llobera. So you can do the R of the roll, you see, with two R's. So Senator Llobera. I get to do that. Sorry. No, that's okay. 2 R's you get to do the roll of the R. 1 R you don't. So it's Llobera. It's a bit more snapped off and short and crisp. Okay, Llobera. Senator Llobera. In another life, maybe. In another life. Well, funny enough, apparently my mum told me. Well, one of the men my mother was dating after my papa left was American. Well, he got a job offer in America and he wanted to take my mum and us with him. She turned him down. So, you know what? I could very well have run for politics. I think you're allowed, once you've got your citizenship in America, you're allowed to run in politics. I'm not sure if you're allowed to. You can't be president. I think you can get as far as senator. Well, yeah, of course you can. Well, no, you can governor. Schwarzenegger was a governor, wasn't he? Yeah, I'm the governor. Great guy he was. And look at my muscles. He was always quoting film snippets, wasn't he? For like when he made a speech or when he was saying something like or answering a question to the newspapers. It was. He always used a quote from his movies. Yeah. Having failed this last election, Governor Schwarzenegger, is that the end of politics or? No, I will be back. Lisa was on it straight away. But yeah, I don't know if you can be a senator. You can definitely be a governor and. Could probably be a congressman. Could have probably been a congressman. How harsh is that though? You know what I mean? Say like you moved to America when you were a kid, and can we have mafia impressions? There's different mafia impressions, isn't there? Because I can do it. The Godfather. We need to clean up the society. Society is like a rotten apple on a tree. It rots away. It's got worms in it. It's ugly. We need to take away the rotten apple. So I love Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. Absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? Absolutely fantastic. That speech he gives. The children, a pile of children's arms. And I wept like an old woman. And then it hit me like a bullet, diamond tip, right between my eyes. The genius Genius. Ah, brilliant. But anyway, wise guy. That's the Al Capone gangster. Mafia. Why I oughta. Wise guy. We're gonna strip this town. We're gonna paint this town red. See? We're gonna paint this town red. See? We're gonna kill all the banksters. See? No, we're not. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. How crap is that? You know, you're a little kid, you go to America, you get citizenship, and you grow up, you love your country, you know, you're as American as any other person who's been born in that country, and, you know, you feel that you can do really well for that country as leading it, you know, as president, but you can't because you were born in another country. That's why I never really cared about Obama's birth certificate. I thought, well, so what if he was born in another country? If he's managed to grow up in that country and rise to the point where he can become president, well, good on him. I mean, that kind of gets, you know, blown by the way with all the information when you realise that, you know, he's hardly done it off his own back. He's been given the bloody thing. So, you know, that kind of craps all over that. But had he been able to rise to that position off his own back, apparently Dan Oknusku is coming back. So, cool. Don't know if that's next or just in general he's coming back. But anyway, before I end tonight's show, I would like to play a dedication to my beautiful, handsome, and really big, strong baby boy. This is Roy Harper, Song of the Ages. Right. And that's time for me to start calling a night. That was Song of the Ages by Roy Harper. That was dedicated to my beautiful son, Guyan. And I must say, you've been a very patient, caring, listening audience. Yeah. Not really much to say now. You've been a great pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the show. Up next, I hope, or I believe, it's our patron saint of Critical Mass Radio, Paul Giovanni, I think, as long as the show's still going ahead with all this kerfuffle. Apparently, either I could have had my webcam on, or I have it on. I don't know. Well, he's got no show. No Critical Mass show. Oh, well, that's me, and that's it. It's just me, the end. For tonight. Oh, no. Bloody hell. I suppose I should do something a bit more finale-ish, really, shouldn't I? Nah. Sorry. Nothing is more finale-ish than saying that I love you all, and it's always a great pleasure to have people, an honour to have people listen to, take time out of their day to listen to my ramblings and ponderings, and time's a precious thing. And by listening to me, something you give me. So, can't be more honoured, really. So, next week, back again, 7 till 9. Hopefully, everything will be sorted and fixed. And we'll be rocking and rolling. So, have a wonderful week, productive, powerful, energetic week. My love to everybody who's listening now, and everybody will be listening on podcast. If you are listening on podcast, thank you very much for downloading. Right, so nothing left for me to say other than adieu, and sleep well, and maybe when you wake up you'll have attained omnipresent super intergalactic oneness. Good night and goodbye.